Hi everybody, welcome to your everyday math lesson for lesson 7.2. This is 5th grade. You are going to be working today in your student journal number 2, volume 2. And we're going to be working on, again, renaming mixed numbers as fractions and learning how to multiply. So I know we worked a lot on multiplying fractions yesterday for our lesson. And so one of the things that I want you to really think about is, you know, I have trick ways and I have things that I'm going to show you sometimes. This gets you ready for my trick way. Okay, so what we're going to start with is we're going to start with renaming mixed numbers and fractions. So what we are going to do today, a lot of it is we're going to take that mixed number that we have and we're going to make it into an improper fraction. This goes back to a lesson that we did earlier in the year where we used something, a little strategy that I call MAD. Okay, so that is one way that you can do this problem. Another way that you can do these problems is you can draw a picture. So this is worth 1 whole. So if I look at this picture, it is worth 3 wholes and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sixths. So that's what this says. It equals 3 plus 5 sixths because that's what this is. Now, if I cut all of these into sixths, basically that's what it did here. So we have 6, 12, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 23 sixths. So you can use your picture, if you want, to break it into pieces. Now, one of the ways that I taught you is we are going to multiply, add, denominator stays the same. So what that means is 3 and 5 sixths. You're going to start by multiplying. So you're going to do 6 times 3. Which is 18. Then you're going to add, so 18 plus 5 is 23. And then finally, my denominator stays the same. So if my denominator was 6 to begin with, guess what? It's 6 again. So this is just a review of what we've already done. This is a strategy that we've used before. So for number 1 through 6, that's the strategy we could use. It does say you can use a number line, the fraction circle pieces if you want, the number line poster. I actually am going to attach that to the lesson for you today. So it is something that Everyday Math gives us as the number line poster. It talks about different fractions that you might see. But another place that you can see that is the very back cover of your Everyday Math workbook. So if I look at this very back cover, I see some fractions that I can use to kind of compare and rename, right? So if I have say I have 1 1/2, I can rename that as 3/2, right? So this is a way that you could use it, right? So we are going to go back to our work on our math workbook. So again, this is page 237. So let's look at number 1. Rename this fraction. Draw a picture. Use the number line if you need to. Or I want you to go ahead and use the MAD method. Rename this fraction 1 2/3. What would that be as an improper fraction? All right, let's use MAD. So 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. Denominator stays the same. Boom. Let's do number 2. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 3 is 13. Denominator stays the same. I think this is the easiest way to do it, to be honest. Especially now that you know your multiplication facts, you've been working on it for all year long. This is probably going to be one of the easiest things to do. Do number 3. 5 times 4 plus 3. Your denominator stays the same. What is your mixed number for number 3? I mean improper fraction. What's your improper fraction for number 3? This answer should be 23/4. All right, I want you to go ahead and do number 4, 5, and 6 on your own. 4, 5, and 6 on your own. When you are finished, you may hit continue. By the way, these might be in your math box's Google form for the day. They might be a check for understanding that I use. So make sure that you know how to do this. Now we're going to do the bottom half of this. So write the following fractions as whole numbers or mixed numbers with the greatest whole number possible. So we have a few ways to do this. One of the ways we can do this is we can use the SAD method or SWID. That's where I subtract. So 7 minus 3 is 4. Add a whole number. Denominator stays the same. And then you keep going. 4 minus 3 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. Denominator stays the same. It's a little tricky. It's not my favorite way. I like to keep things easy. All you need to do is divide. Top number divided by bottom number. We've done this all year long. You should know how to do these questions. Let's try number 8. 2 over 1. 2 divided by 1. 2. Super simple. Let's do number 9. 18 over 4. So I'm going to do 18 divided by 4. 4 goes into 18 4 times. 4 times 4 is 16 with 2 left over. Remember, I write my remainder 2. And then I put the 2 over my denominator, so 2/4. So your answer would be 4 2/4. Or I would also take 4 1/2. If you know how to reduce, fine. 4 2/4 is a perfect answer. Let's see if you can do some of these other ones on your own. So number 10, divide. Do the top number divided by the bottom number. What is your answer? For this one, your answer should be 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Simple. There's no remainder, so there's no fraction. Let's do the next one. 22 divided by 5. I want you to take a moment, write it down on your workbook, write it down on a piece of paper, do the work. What is your mixed number going to be? Do the work, do the division. 5 goes into 22 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20 with 2 left over. So my 2 becomes my numerator and my denominator was 5. So your answer for this one should be 4. 4 2/5. That should be your answer. Number 12 is super simple. I hope you had it written before I went on. I didn't want to put that as a question because I know you can do this one. 16 divided by 8 is 2. So knowing these processes, knowing how these numbers work, will help you when multiplying mixed numbers. So we learned how to do area model with lesson 7.1. And while area model is a way to do this, there is a simpler way. So what we are going to do today is we're going to look at a couple of different problems. We're going to solve the problems using common denominators or the numbers written as fractions. We know that you multiply fractions by going straight across. So instead of doing area model, and this is just to remind you of a little bit about the area model and how it works. Remember when we did the area model, if I were doing a problem like this, I would have to multiply 4 times 1, 4 times 2/3, 1/6 times 1, 1/6 times 2/3, add all those answers up. A lot of steps, a lot of work. We're going to do the same idea. We're going to get the same answer, but this is going to be the quick and simple way to do it. So this is your math workbook, page 238. So number 1 and 2, it says, rename any mixed numbers as fractions. Rewrite the problem using the fractions as factors, and then use a fraction multiplication algorithm to solve. So we're going to start by rewriting them as fractions, as improper fractions. Look at number 1. What 2 numbers will I be multiplying if I make this into an improper fraction? All right, if I were going to rewrite this as an improper fraction, I would do 5 times 2, 10, plus 3 is 13, denominator stays the same, times 1/2. Great. And now we know how to multiply fractions. multiply straight across. What is my answer? What is 13/5 times 1/2? All right, 13/5 times 1/2 is 13/10. I know that because 13 times 1 is 13. And 2 times 5 is easy, it's 10. Uh-oh. I don't like that. I don't like it because it's an improper fraction. My top number is larger than my bottom number. So now I have to rewrite it. We know how to do that. We're going to divide. 13 divided by 10 is 1 with 3 left over. So your final answer would be 1 3/10. Look at how much work is on this problem and how much work was on the area model problem. I think this one's a lot easier. Let's do number 2. So I have 1 3/4 times 3 1/3. Rewrite this problem using improper fractions in order to multiply. Did you get written down? I hope so. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7, so 7/4 times. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. Denominator is 3. Multiply straight across. Go ahead and find your answer. What is 7/4 times 10 thirds? You can keep it as an improper fraction for now. All right, so your answer should have been 70/12. 7 times 10 is 70. 4 times 3 is 12. Now you need to rename this. It will be a mixed number, so I want you to go ahead and divide. 70 divided by 12. What is your mixed number? 12 goes into 70 5 times. 5 times 12 is 60, with 10 left over. So 10 becomes my numerator. 12 is my denominator. So your answer should be 5 10/12. Now, you can rename 10/12. If you know how to do that, great. If you know how to simplify, awesome. If you simplify, basically I'm dividing both the numerator and denominator by 2. This is taking it that next step, guys. So this is also the same as 5 and, okay, 10 divided by 2 is 5. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So these are the same fractions, 5 10/12 or 5 5/6. All right, a couple more problems for the day. So for problems 3 through 5, it says write a number model using a letter for the unknown. Okay, we know how to do that, guys. Solve using the fraction multiplication algorithm. Okay, show your work. You never know when I'm going to ask to see it in my Zoom. Here we go. So our number model, it says, what is the area of a sheet of notebook paper? Well, I know I'm finding the area, so that's length times width. So my number model, honestly, it doesn't matter what order you put them in. I'm going to say my number model is 8 times 10 1/2 equals P for paper. Now remember, 8 is the same as 8/1. 10 times 2 is 20, plus 1 is 21/2. All right, your job. Multiply straight across. Rename it as a mixed number or as a whole number. Go. All right, 8 times 21 is 168. 1 times 2 is 2, and now I'm going to divide. 2 goes into 8 4 times, 2 goes into 16 8 times. So if I take 168 divided by 2, my answer is 84. Awesome. So if I were to measure this in square inches, it would be 84 square inches. Now let's do the area of the flag. We have 3 3/5 yard times 2 1/3 yard. So 3 3/5 times 2 1/3 equals Y for yards. Rename the fractions. multiply straight across, convert if you need to, and find my final answer. All right, when it says show your work, this is basically what I mean. This is my number model. I'm going to show how I rename it, and I'm going to show how I divide. So 3 times 5 is 15, plus 3 is 18. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. And now I'm going to multiply straight across. 5 times 3 is 15. 18 times 7. I don't know it right off the top of my head, so I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do it. Show your work. So that's what I'm doing, right? 7 times 8 is 56. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So equals 126 over 15. Great. Now I need to divide. 126 divided by 15. All right. Let me see. 15 times, I know that 15 times 6 is 90. 15 times 8 is 120. So I think it's going to be 8. So 8 times 15 is 120. 6 left over. That is now my numerator. My denominator is 15. Your final answer should be 8 and 6 over 15. So 8 and 6/15 of a yard. Again, I think this is a lot easier than doing 3 times 2, 3 times a third, 3/5 times 2, 3/5 times a third, and then adding all of them together. I think this goes a lot faster, right? Great. Number 5, last week Erin earned $9 doing chores. Dara earned 2.5 times as much. How much money did she earn? So 2.5 times 9 equals D for Darla, maybe? I want you to do the same thing. Show your work. Do all steps possible. Do the math that goes along with it and write your final answer. Take your time. Let's go. All right, 2.5 is the same as 5/2 times 9 over 1, because that's how you write 9 as a fraction. 5 times 9 is 45 over 2 times 1 is 2. 45 divided by 2. 2, 0, 5, 2, 1 left over. Should be 22 and 1/2. How do I write 1/2 as a decimal? Well, you should know this. It should be 22.50. If you wrote 22.5, I also would have accepted that. But this one is money, so I think that you could have done it. Right? And finally, a number story. Guys, you have one number story here and 2 kind of number stories there. You can use that to help you. It says, write a number story that can be solved by multiplying 1.5 and 4 1/4. I have a rug that is 1 1/2 feet by 4 1/4 feet. What is the area of my rug? If you know that area is length times width, use that to help you. Maybe you talk about your desk being 1.5 feet by 4.5 feet, 4 1/4 feet. That'd be a big, weird, long desk, right? Maybe you're talking about you worked 1.5 hours and you got $4 1/4 per hour. You could kind of use it that way-ish. Okay. My suggestion, especially when you're multiplying, use an area problem. It is super easy. Okay. All right, I want you to do the math. So it says write a number story that can be solved. Let's do it. 1 1/2 is the same as 3 halves. 4 1/4 is the same as 5 fourths. Multiply straight across. We have 15 over 8. If I divide that out, we're going to have 1 7/8. 1 7/8 for me would be feet squared because it's area. Awesome. That is it with the lesson today. I want you to tell me in the answer box, there is another question. I want you to tell me, which way do you think is easier? Is it easier to change it into an improper fraction? Or is it easier for you to do area model? It's your choice. It's your decision. Which way do you prefer? Have a great day, guys.